Okay. Hello, everybody. We are once again live. Welcome to the Market Open. It is Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. I was not able to make the Market Open yesterday because I was traveling back. And apparently Starship was also not able to make the morning open because they were not able to do what they had to do. So we both had a little bit of problems yesterday, Starship, including myself. But we are here. Man, I missed this yesterday. I'm sorry, guys. I am here. I am back today. And we are ready to open up the market. Cameron, Delcy, Ray, Alfred, Zocold, Midwest, Dex, Tessa, Seth, thank you so much all for being here. I appreciate it. It means the world to me. This market is a little crazy. Last time we talked, stocks were not up as much as they were up. I mean, they were up. They weren't up as much as they were up. Now they're up. Bitcoin at 30,000. I mean, this is just insane. This is just absolutely. It's okay. I opened it yesterday for you. Sachin, what's up? Jem, what's up? Amid, how do you feel about the AWS Snowflake and partnership to compete with Palantir? So I don't know about this. Please send me a link to it. In general, AWS partners not just with Palantir or Snowflake, but with every company, right? I don't know if it's necessarily competing with Palantir. It's more so that AWS is just super big, so they're going to partner with every other, software provider on the planet. So I don't necessarily know if that's direct competition. But AWS is so huge that every company has to partner with it, to be honest. Palantir partnering with these cloud providers is just another way to get Foundry out there. That's all it is, really. It's just another strategic go-to-market. It's nothing like super big. The Microsoft partnership was actually really good because it was in the public sector, and like IL6 is what made that partnership so unique. But outside of that, it's not like, the craziest partnership in the world. All right. If we look at the market, we've got some good stuff going on. We got SoFi that's up basically at $6, $5.99. We've got an S&P that's at $4.15, $5 away from $4.20. I mean, this is a potentially new world we are living in, where for the past 18 months, we have not had multiple green days. And yesterday was green. Today, do we get another green? Look at Enphase at 226. I mean, Enphase is doing phenomenal. Netflix has earnings today. Tesla has earnings tomorrow. A lot to discuss there. Finance Junkies tonight, we'll be doing a full preview of it. NASDAQ 12,157. Apple 166. Apple now making plans to go deep into India with Tim Cook stepping into India, deciding that that's going to be his next growth sector. There's just a lot of things going on in the market. A lot of different ways in which the market is operating. Wake up, go Palantir. Vincent, what's up? Man, this is SLG to great. SLG is also doing good. Like, I'm just a little kind of skeptical because I'm like, I don't know. I'm a little skeptical because I'm like, I don't know if it is able to maintain itself like this. But let's see, right? I mean, let's see. Look, it's nice to see green. It's nice to see green. And for those that still want to dip, maybe we get one more chance in May when we have this kind of sell in May, go away thing happen. I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. But if it doesn't, then, we might have to start DCing and get some higher prices. If it does happen, we'll get some more opportunities. Q1 earnings is going to determine a lot, and Q1 earnings has already started. And if a lot of companies shit the bed on Q1 earnings, then, yeah, we're going to have a better opportunity to buy. If they don't, then they don't. 9:30 a.m., April 18, 2023. Haven't done this in 3 days, so I'm happy to be doing this again. And I want to do this for the rest of my life. The stock market is now open. Wake your ass up. The stock market is open. Palantir, look at that bad boy. $8.95. We are 5 cents away from $9. I don't know if she gets there. But we're gonna keep an eye on her. But she is close there. FRC at $13. Nvidia, oh my god, I didn't even see Nvidia yesterday. $2.75. So Nvidia is not slowing down. Arc Innovation $39.44. Netflix $3.34. Tesla $186. Tesla not doing as well as some of the other guys, but it's up from $175 from last week. McDonald's at $2.89. Amazon $103. Amazon kind of crushing it. It was stuck at $98 for a while. Meta at $2.19. Meta continuing to crush it. Coinbase 69, Walgreens 36, AMD 91, Bank of America 30. Did Bank of America put out earnings today, or is that after hours? Let me see. Bank of America earnings. I'm pretty sure it's after hours. If I'm not, no, is it? No, it's on today. Okay, so Bank of America earnings. We've got what do we have? 94 cents per share versus 82 cents expected. So they beat on EPS. 26.39 billion versus 25.3 billion in terms of revenue. So it's up 2% pre-market. Obviously, Bank of America did decently well because it is a big four bank and a lot of the regional banks that were collapsing. Some of that money came into Bank of America, just like JP Morgan, that was up 6% when they just destroyed expectations. So it makes sense that Bank of America was up. You got Spotify 135, PayPal at 77. You got Ethereum at 2,000. Wow, Ethereum passing 2,000. I didn't even know that happened. So maybe that happened last week, but Ethereum passing 2,000. Uber at 32. Roku stuck at 63. Zoom at 68. Alibaba 98. Trade Desk 62. A lot of stocks are up. Lots of stocks. Pinterest at 28. This one was stuck at 23 to 24 for a good couple months. And Adobe closing in potentially 400 now at $380. We've got a little bit of a green market, folks. A little bit of a green market. Opinion on the rumor of Samsung changing its search bar to Bing. I think it is just that. It is a rumor and a negotiation tactic to get Google to pay more money, which Google will gladly do, because at the end of the day, Google needs to maintain their monopoly on search. So we will see kind of how it goes from there. Riot and Mara are printing like crazy. You need them to slow down. My covered calls are getting crushed. Oh, man. Riot. Let's go to Riot. Riot is, wow, 6% in one day. Goodness. Mara is 7%. Yeah, so you've got some stocks that are just going up. They're just going up. And this is a little bit of a confusing macro because we've been so used to stocks just not having 2 green days in a row. It just doesn't happen in the way we, literally we have not had multiple green days. And I think even from last Friday, this is our multiple green days in a row. And it's just different. It's just absolutely different. We haven't felt this before. Let's take a look at some analysis here. We do have a lot of different things to talk about. So this is the most anticipated and expected recession we've had. How can we, hedge back against a lot of this bullishness that's going on? Let's take a look at this, and then we will discuss.
Let's talk broader markets and earnings. Join us now, Kerry Firestone, Chairman and CEO of RES Asset Management and a CNBC contributor. Are you surprised, Corey, that people are so downbeat? Only 3.5% unemployment. What's not to like? I mean, inflation really colors everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's impossible to put on your television or listen to anything about the news without hearing people talk about the recession is coming. I mean, this is the most anticipated and expected recession we've ever had. And for a year plus, all of the strategists, economists, and anyone who's sort of an expert talks about it. And so that seeps into the way the public thinks. And inflation, as you say, is a huge deal when you have to pay twice as much for chicken or eggs and milk. You notice it. And that, the car market, just think about what's happened with pricing. So yeah, and unemployment is very low. We don't usually have recessions when there's 3.5 or 6% unemployment. But I can understand how people answer that question.
We have been, as you point out, since October, we were at 35 and change on the S&P, 3,500 and change, climbing a wall of worry. And I say that all the time. I mean, unless there's something really a lot worse than what we already think, and it's already pretty bad, what's hitting us in the face, and the market has still climbed. And you say it hasn't retested those lows because we may have one more hike, and the market's sniffing that out, maybe 25 more, and that's it?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the Fed might raise one more and probably will raise 25 basis points, that's a long way from where we were a year ago, where we were having 75 basis point rate increases and unemployment, was low, but people were saying, oh, it's definitely going to get higher, and the inflation rate got to 9%. We haven't had anything but the numbers going in the right direction. So inflation is down to 5. I mean, I know it's not 2, but it's certainly a lot better than it was. And the interest rates have been coming down, and 25 basis points is a far cry from 75. And the economy is sort of chugging along. I mean, it might not be great if you're getting out of business school and thought you had the big 175 or 200 starting salary at Bain or McKinsey, but at least you get to be a yoga instructor, and they keep you in, I guess, the employed category. But I think things are better, and the market sees that. You just heard Johnson & Johnson report a better number than expected. And the banks are not going to be worse than expected, I think. So the market, understands that, and it's taken advantage of where we were in October 12th, at 35.77.
I think this makes a lot of sense, actually. The market has baked in a core assumption around rate hikes and has compared it to what we've had in the past. JP Morgan at 139. JP Morgan was at 127 last week. Last year, this time, it was 75, right? Every single other month, it was 75, 75, 75. And it was like, we got to get inflation under control. In June, we had peaked at 9% inflation and we had to get it down. Now, even if inflation, it might be sticky around 4 or 5%, it's at 5%. And it's gonna get lower and lower, even if it takes a little bit longer, even if it's not, from 6.1 to 5, it might be 5 to 4.8, 4.7, but it's gonna start coming down. And if we're gonna get another 25, which, maybe we do get another 25, it seems like the market is baking that in and saying this is way better than what we were getting before. And as a result of how much better we have it right now, we are going to reward equities over bonds with the capital they deserve, because they've also shown they're efficient. What determines everything, including if we get to keep 12,219 on the NASDAQ and 415 on the S&P, trading 18 times price to earnings, which historically it should be a little bit lower than that, should be around 14, 15 times, is Q1 earnings. And so that is going to determine a lot of things. Bank of America kicked it out of the park today. Netflix today after hours. I mean, this is going to be a big one, and we'll look at a preview for Netflix, but the reason Netflix matters is because if they can show increased subscriber growth, there's a bunch of different external factors that benefit. Number one, it means consumers are still willing to spend $15 a month. Number two, it means Netflix paying for content shows that there is demand for more and more content, and that keeps the cycle of the economy running as Netflix has to go find more content. And that also means that there are more creators that are getting paid, which means and film producers and people on staff, right? There's just thousands of jobs that are created when Netflix makes this content. And the growth in subscribers means that there is the ability for Netflix to still grow. At the end of the day, you've got to have a healthy economy for people to chalk up $15 a month for something they might use once or twice a week, right? So I've always thought of Netflix as like one of those stocks that are really important to think about, because like back in, I think, early 2022, when they collapsed and they lost subscribers because people weren't willing to pay, that's less about Netflix not having good content. It's more about the macro, right? Like Netflix should be able to figure out the marketing to get people to pay. If people aren't paying, that's about a macro issue in people's wallets, that they're not willing to give up that extra $15 a month. And so we're going to see how that kind of changes. The market already added this in all months ago. I agree as well. Back in town. Yeah, I just got back in town last night. Are you guys still on description with Netflix, Disney Plus? I get Disney Plus for free with my phone provider, but Netflix, I do have the subscription. Palantir Research, good morning. Let's do a little bit of a Netflix preview right here and see kind of what we think. This is going to be the first of the big tech. I know we don't think of Netflix as big tech anymore, but still, it is going to kick off earnings season.
Joining us right now is Matt Bellamy. He's a Puck founding partner. Good morning to you. We've all been awaiting, trying to understand how this password sharing program is really going to work. Is it really going to cut down and create more subscribers? What's that going to look like? And how this ad-supported tier is working in an environment that is clearly challenged when it comes to the advertising space. So what's your expectation?
It'll be interesting because these projections for the year, Netflix was pretty bullish, something like 20 million for the year on adding this ad tier subscriber. And most people believe that they are not going to get anywhere near that. Plus, it would be great if they could reveal the revenue attached to these subscribers, because as you mentioned, the ad market right now is not ideal for launching this tier. And if they can't attach more revenue to these subscribers, they're not paying as much as they used to when Netflix would announce big subscriber gains. So it'll be interesting to see how that matches up revenue per subscriber, in addition to the update on the ad tier.
But Matt, you don't think that they're going to necessarily disclose that figure?
No, they will. They will. The expectation is that they'll give us both the number of subscribers in the ad tier and the average revenue per user, which is the key metric here, because the question with the ad tier is how many of these subscribers are going to be new subscribers and how many of them are people who were previously
Well, that's what I was going to ask
you.
How much of this is cannibalizing the business? Do you think it is?
Exactly. And the numbers on that have been good so far. It hasn't been cannibalizing in these different markets that they have talked about. But we'll see what they say.
I mean, one of the things we talked to Andy Jassy last week, we talked about Prime, but more importantly, he was saying that people were really trading down. There was a lot of trading down in terms of the types of products that people would buy. They'd be looking for an expensive item. They'd end up buying the cheaper item, which I think goes to this question of whether we're going to see people trading down in terms of what kind of subscription package they take.
I think that's a great point. Now, Netflix has said that it hasn't really been happening, that the ad-supported subscribers are new mostly. But when you combine that with the password sharing and some of the challenges in the greater economy, I think it's only natural to expect that people are looking for bargains. Right. And when you're looking at all these streaming services that you're subscribing to, and there's a cheaper option for Netflix, you'd think people would take it.
Matt, let's go bigger picture for a second, if you will, which is this writer strike that seems to be upon us. How long do you think it goes, if it goes? And if it happens, who is the winner in the streaming world during this period?
That's a great question, because my prediction right now, I think there will be a strike. The May 1st is the deadline, but I think they'll probably extend. My prediction.
I didn't even know there was a strike going on with Netflix and writers. I guess we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I think he's right about if they can get new subscribers to get on the ad tier, that's going to be the big thing, not just change existing subscribers, because then they're going to probably monetize them less, like their average revenue per user would go down. But I think Netflix had a lot of good content, to be honest. Welcome back, Brother Suri. Thank you for being here. The one Netflix, I don't watch, so what's funny, guys? I don't watch Netflix shows at all. Like when Netflix shows like a new thing in front of me, I will click on a random new YouTube video from a person I don't know who has 10 subscribers, but I will not click on like $100 million produced show on Netflix. Like I just won't do it. When I got my root canal and I couldn't do anything for like 5 hours, I was just laying down and I pulled up Netflix. I was like, what do they got? And there's a thing called Beef. Okay. Again, I don't click on Netflix shows. I don't watch Netflix shows. The description in Beef said a story about an unfulfilled entrepreneur. And those two words, unfulfilled entrepreneur, were enough for me to click the show. And I was like, all right, I'll give this a chance. And then I binged it in like 5 hours. And for those who haven't seen Beef, it is a really good show on Netflix. Like it has Ali Wong, who's a comedian, but it's a drama and it is good. It is it's one of the best shows, I think, in the past 5 years. Honestly, you'll feel like those 10 hours went by so quickly. So the only reason I clicked on it is because it had the word entrepreneur in it. And I was like, all right, if it didn't have the word entrepreneur in it, I would not have clicked it, because I just don't click on Netflix shows. But my point is Netflix just has such good content over the past 3-4 months. I think this subscriber growth will definitely be there. It's just a question when they can do in the future. Love is Blind. Yeah, I heard that Netflix is trying to do live stuff, and they did the Love is Blind reunion, and they messed up, and they kept people waiting for an hour. My sister was one of those people. That's why I know about this, and she was not happy. But apparently that reunion was very exciting for people. Nice to see Mitgan, Wei, Keith Yi. Thank you for being here. Beef started incredibly well, weakened a bit after the first few episodes. I agree. But those first 3-4 episodes were pretty damn good, man. It actually hooked me, and it's hard to hook me to binge a whole show. Somebody who only watches shows, I literally never open Netflix for shows. They haven't made a good one in 5 years. Seriously. Well, I think Squid Game was the good one. We all forget about Squid Game. That was amazing. Squid Game was phenomenal. That's how I know about that. Mike, I'm serious, bro. My sister was in the car yesterday driving me home from the airport. She's like, did you hear Netflix messed up in front of? And I was like, oh, why? And then she told me about it. I don't have the patience to watch Love is Blind, bro. They take two people and they make them get married on the spot, having never known each other. Like, what type of fucking stupid shit? Like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard of. And people sign up for it because they're like, yeah, why not? Let me marry someone that I have no idea about, and then we'll figure it out later. Like legit get married. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is actually ridiculous. This is insane. I can't watch that. Now, Too Hot to Handle. That was a good show, but there were more bikinis on that show, which is why I like that show. End of Beef. I just wanted it to end with the dragging. Yeah, I think they're definitely going to do a sequel to that. The fans, they're going to need part 2 on that. All right. Where do we have Palantir? Do we get $9 on Palantir yet? $8.93. It's playing with us. So I just wish we can get to 9. And even if we don't change for the next couple months, like sustaining $9 would be awesome. So that we're past $8.93. Also, forgot to mention we have earnings May 8th, 2023 after hours. Palantir has put it out. If you're not on my newsletter, dailypalantir.com/subscribe, you would know we have earnings on May 8th because I sent it out yesterday. I was at the airport in North Carolina. And I had like 15 minutes before my next flight. I was like, all right, I gotta get this newsletter out. But we will have earnings on May 8th. Look, we did before hours every time for like a year, 2 years. And the first time we do it after hours, we get GAAP profitability. I don't know if the trend of being after hours is going to continue to lead to something good. If we can pull off GAAP profitability for another quarter in a row, oh my goodness, this stock is, I don't know if it goes to the moon on that day because it'll definitely come back down, but the market will appreciate it. Now, in all likelihood, we do not end up being GAAP profitable this quarter. We will be it for the year. I doubt we will not be it for the year. And, we'll have like earnings. But if we can somehow give some positive net income, even if it's just on EPS, it's going to be a really, really dope earnings. But we got to do that. And that's the hard part. That is going to be the hard part. If we can get there, it's going to be awesome. Tesla 187, SLG at 24, NASDAQ 12,000. So you got Snowflake at 146. Enovix is up 5% at $14. Uber at 32. And then Netflix at 336 as well. Earnings will be interesting to see if there will be a hole to dig to reach GAAP profitability. Hopefully not too deep. Yeah, I agree. So there's also an article that came out. I might do a video on this later. Not sure if I will, but let me just show you guys the headline because they're making me subscribe to read it anyway. NHS data specialists oppose Palantir's bid for the $590 million contract. I got a summary of this article and people asking my thoughts. Basically, my thoughts are very simple. Of course, the NHS data specialists are going to oppose Palantir because they might be out of a job when they introduce Palantir. The reason this article is a nothing burger to me is because the former head of AI at the NHS, Indra Joshi, was hired by Palantir, right? And so I think the reason they hired her obviously was to lobby the NHS, but also Indra Joshi, who's the head of AI, realized, oh shit, Palantir is the future. And so that's why they took the job at Palantir when they retired from their position at the NHS. So look, I think we have this deal in the bag. I think there's going to be article after article from all these media groups saying that, Palantir is going to get this deal. It's scary, but I think we're getting this deal. I really do. I'm willing to bet a lot of money we get this deal. And at this point, now it's just a question of when it gets announced and how it gets done. But we're going to get this deal. We're going to do a phenomenal job for the NHS because that's the reason the NHS is even... the NHS would not go through all this trouble of the backlash they're getting to give us this deal. And they're having a ton of backlash if we couldn't get the job done. And I think in the next 2 years, when we show how we get the job done, it is going to set such a precedent for other countries in the world and healthcare systems in the world to really look deep at what we're doing. And again, giving one company all that data, I can understand why that's scary. The problem is the distributed type of platforms they've been using over the past couple of years, 2 decades, have not worked. And so either you're going to deal with backlash from your citizens in the UK, or you're going to reduce their weight times. Either you deal with backlash or you actually do something positive for them. And I think at the end of the day, the NHS wants to do something positive, and that's why Palantir is going to get this deal. So we will see what happens on that. All right, that's it for me, everybody. I got to go. Thank you so much for being here. We will be back with Finance Junkies tonight. We have a special guest coming on, one of Carlos's good friends, and we're going to be talking Netflix earnings. We're going to be going in depth on Tesla tomorrow, which is a big deal. Talk about Apple introducing a basically SoFi competitor with a new bank at 4.15% savings. My quick thoughts on that are, as that's bad for SoFi, but it's not fully, doing what SoFi does in terms of mortgages and loans and all this stuff. So maybe if Apple decides to go into that business, they become the world's biggest fintech. I don't necessarily know if they want to do that. And if they do, they do. I mean, we'll see. But as of now, a savings account, yeah, it's not the best thing for SoFi. It's just, I think SoFi is so much more of a one-stop shop for all the technology that's involved in terms of your personal finances that it's still a bit of a more compelling pitch than just going with Apple. So, but we'll talk more about it. Amit, just one quick question. Tomorrow is the earnings for SLG. What do you think? Positive or negative? Do you think they cut dividends? Yes, I'll ask Chris tonight. He'll probably know a little bit more. So I'll ask Chris some of his thoughts tonight and we'll talk about that. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining. It means the world to me. I will see you tonight on Finance Junkies. Good night.